my team members, Fatita, Kamarul Nizam and also Siti Nadira, to present on the financial ratio analysis for Petra Energy Berhad for the year of 2013 and also 2014. So I will start off with the company background, and my team members will be presenting on the analysis of the objectives and moving to the ratio analysis of liquidity, profitability and also solvency, and the last one will be the conclusion. So the Petra Energy Berhad is actually the oil and gas company, and its nature of business is actually from the services, marine support, design fabrication and also production and development. The first one will be, the main cash cow will be from the services, which is the integrated brownfield maintenance and also engineering, which is basically is the platform maintenance for all offshore project. So the second one will be the marine support. Marine support is the offshore support for all the workboats and work barges. And the third one is the design, fabrication, supply and installation, which is simply the design and fabrication for all offshore items, for all offshore items located in Shah Alam. And the fourth one is the production and development, which is the joint venture with Coastal Energy on the RSC.
Alright, Assalamualaikum. These are the list of objectives that we have come up with from our group. The first one is, the objective of this presentation is to appreciate the importance of respective financial analysis. In this case, we have three separate financial analysis. One is liquidity, the other one is solvency, and the last one is profitability. And the second one is for us to recognize key indicators or ratios that are used to extract information from the balance sheet, income statement and cash statement. So basically each of the analysis I mentioned above, for example liquidity, has its own ratio that we need to interpret. And the third one is to understand the meaning of each key indicator and how it affects the financial behavior of the company. Basically we would use the ratio that we calculate to analyze how the company is performing financially. And the fourth one is, the objective is to provide performance assessment of the company based on the trend of the key indicators over a period of time. Usually when we do this analysis, we need to do it for over a period of time, for example 3 or 2 years, so we can see the trend, whether it's moving up, moving down, whether it's performing better or not. And the last one is to provide a useful summary or conclusion for the shareholders and top management to understand the financial health of the company. Because usually these shareholders and top management, they wouldn't go into detail to look at the financial statement of the company. What they do is they will just look at this financial analysis and they will make their own decision. Okay, for this part, I'm going to talk about the solvency analysis. And basically solvency is a measure of how the company manages its debt. A solvent company is considered as a company that owns more than what it owes. So basically, if a company that has more asset compared to its debt is considered as a solvent company. And there are three ratios that we consider during this analysis. The first one is debt to equity ratios, the second one is debt to asset ratios, and the third one is the interest coverage ratio. So for the debt to equity ratios, basically these ratios will indicate the financial leverage of the company. What it means is that it will compare the total debt of the company against the total equity, the total owner's equity. So basically debt over equity. And for Petra Energy, the debt to equity ratio in 2013 is 0.81 and in 2014 is 1.17. So, and we can see that the ratio has increased from 2013 to 2014 because of the debt that has increased significantly from 391 million to 600 million, which is quite a big increment. So the summary that I can come up with based on the ratio is that the increase is, the rise of the debt to equity ratio is 44% from 2013 to 2014. And like I said before, the debt itself has increased significantly, which is 50%. this shows that the company has incurred more financial leverage from 2013 to 2014, which is, we can say that which is not so good because the company has incurred more debt. Okay, the second one is debt to asset ratio, and this one is similar to debt to equity ratio, but we compare the debt against the asset. So basically, this analysis measures how much company assets has been financed by the debt. Okay, so for Petra Energy in 2013, the ratio is 0.5, and in 2014, the ratio has increased to 0.54 because of, you can see that the amount of debt has increased significantly, which is 50%. Okay, and the summary of this ratio is that it implies that because in 2014 the debt is 0.54, it implies that more than 50% of the company asset has been financed by the debt, meaning that the management of the company has taken debt in order to operate the company. And the third analysis for solvency, the third ratio for solvency analysis is the interest coverage ratio. This ratio measures the ability of the companies to pay its interest expense. Basically, if you already taken the debt, then you need to pay the debt together with its interest expense. So the ratio, how to calculate this ratio is that we divide operating income or earning before income tax over the interest expense. And if you can look at the table here, in 2013, the ratio is 0.12, which is quite low. But in 2014, the ratio has increased significantly to 1.34. This is because you can see the earning before income tax in 2014 is only 1.2 million, but in 2014, this increased up to 21 million. So meaning that, for this analysis ratio, ideally we would like the ratio to be above 0.5 at 1.5, because if it's above 1.5, we know that the company has a very good ability to pay all its interest expense. But for Petra Energy in 2013, it didn't look so good. So for the summary of this ratio, you can see, like I said before, the sharp increase from 2013 to 2014. And like I said before also, ideally we would like the ratio to be above 1.5. But if it's above 1, it's still okay, because if it's above 1, we know that the company has fairly good ability to pay all this debt. So overall, we know that Petra Energy will not be having any problem to pay its interest expense and or its debt. So, thank you.
I'm going to present about the liquidity analysis part. As my friend already mentioned in our objectives, it's one of the part that we're going to present. So when it comes for the liquidity analysis, there's 3 ratios that falls under liquidity analysis. So the first one will be, I'll give the brief idea about liquidity. It's a short-term obligation as of the company that they need to do when it's come to do. So it means that how they are able to pay certain debt of the organization. So there's 3 measurements. So the first one is current ratio, and the second one is quick ratio, or we call it acid test ratio, and the third one is cash ratio. So I'm going to analyze each and every one of them one by one. So the first one, as the current ratio I mentioned earlier, it is the ability to pay off its current liability within 1 year period of time. So this is current assets, such as it counts as current asset, account receivable, inventory, and the higher the ratio, and the better the company is able to pay its liquidity. So the company is better in liquidity position. So the current ratio is current asset divided by current liability. So according to the 2 consecutive years, we got to know that we have got the same current ratio for the 2 consecutive years. This was due to because of the constant increasement in asset and the liability from 2013 to 2014. So we have got 1.61 for each of the 100 years. So when it comes to the analysis part, we analyze that the constant increasement in both current asset and current liability had resulted in a constant current ratio from 2 to year. And this defined as Petra Energy ability to pay off its current liability from year to year basis remain stagnant. So the company overall performance is good since its current ratio is greater than 1. So as you can see, the current ratio for the both years is 1.61. So here they are all greater than 1. So we can say that it's better and is in a good current, in a good position, indicate the ability to pay its short-term debt. So the next one will be the quick ratio, which is asset test ratio, and it shows that as well the measure, this ratio measure a company ability to meet its short-term obligation with its most liquid asset. So here, in general idea, is how the company can transform, how fast is company able to transform its liquidity, its asset to a liquid. So here, from where, because this one will be taken off the inventory, and to see the remaining asset, how is able to, how fast it can be converted into liquid. So here we have like the 2 years. In 2013 it was 1.53%, and in 2014 it is 1.50. So where there was a slight decrease in the quick ratio by from 1.53 to 1.50. So means, but overall it's okay, because as long as both are more than 1%, it can be acceptable for this one. Then you can say all are acceptable, and from this ratio, after removing the inventory, we got a good figure, which is more than 1, and we can say that this company was not too much depending on its inventory in order to transform its asset as a liquid. So based with the asset that they can fast transform to a liquid. Then we go to the next one, which is the cash ratio. Cash ratio indicates of the company liquidity that further refines both the current ratio and the quick ratio by measuring the amount of cash or equivalent or all the invested funds. So here we'll have the cash ratio is a cash plus cash equivalent plus invested funds that we divide by the current liability. So here we get to know we have, like in 2013 it was 0.46, and in 2014 it is 0.32. So when we analyze this part, we will say in general that the trend shows a slight decrease in cash ratio due to significant increase in Petra Energy current liability by 57%. So Petra Energy per head cash ratio for both financial year were below 1, in which it is normal for the business to maintain a lower level of cash against the current liability. So to sum up here, with this liquidity part, we have current ratio, we have quick asset test ratio, and we have cash ratio. So in general, from the two previous one, we can say the company is their ratio is more than 1, so is acceptable. When it comes for the cash ratio, we got to know that the cash ratio is a significant decrease due to the increase of the current liability. Okay, I'll pass the floor to my friend to come and continue with the presentation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Nabira. I will present for the profitability analysis. For this case, profitability means the ability of the company to make profit, and based on their activities of the company activities and how they use their available resources to produce the product. So in order to know how Petra Energy Berhad is performing well or not, so this analysis will measure how many profit the company generate. So measure the company's overall efficiency and performance, and company's ability to earn the profit. So there is 4 types of profitability ratios, which is the gross margin ratios, the return on asset, return on equity, and also return on sales ratios. For the first one, gross margin ratios, it measures the long-term profitability of the company's goods and services and how much cost the company has to incur in order to produce the goods and services. So for the equation, the calculation is gross margin ratio equal to gross profit over the net sales. So we can see that in 2013, the ratio is 13.73%. And it increased in 2014 to 15.06%. So we can see these increases in ratio indicates that the company has improving their sales efficiency. Means that in 2013, for example, each dollar in sales, company will earn 13.73% of profit and spend the rest to produce it. And for the 2014, for every dollar in sales, company earn 15.06 of profit and the rest to the cost to produce the product. And in short, that the ratio shows that the company able to retain each dollar of sales to cover its other obligation and cost of the productions. So the next ratio is the return on asset. Return on asset measure efficiency of the business using their assets to generate the income. So the calculation here is net income over the total asset. In 2013, the return on asset we can see there is 1.43%. It increased in 2014, which is 3.11%. So for these increases shows that the company will generate, for example, in 2013, by using $1 assets, it will generate income by 1.43%. And also for 2014, every $1 in asset use, it will generate 3.11%. It shows that the return on equity increase from year to year. So this ratio shows that the company earning more money from its asset. So for the next is return on equity. Return on equity actually it measures the efficiency of the company deploying the shareholders' equity into profit. So the equation is net income over shareholders' equity. So for the 2013, we can see that the ratio is 2.60% and it increased in 2014, which is 6.74%, which is good ratios. Then the analysis is this increased ratio shows that the company have effectively, efficiently reinvest the shareholders' money which they put into the company. So ROE, return on equity, is the important measurement for the potential investor for the potential investor evaluate is it worth to invest to that company or not. So for the next one is the return on sales. Return on sales measure the profit of the company from year to year, and it evaluate the company's operational efficiency and help the management to control their expenses, their costs. So the equation is net income before interest and tax, which is EBIT, over the sales. For 2013 to 2014, we can see the increases in the ratios from 0.26% to 3.49%. So this show the positive increases. This increase in return on sales means that the higher net income with the lower expenses. So this increase indicate that the expenses of the company have efficiently managed by the company. So that's all from my part. We proceed to my friends for the conclusions. Thank you.
That was a very thorough explanation from my team members. So moving on to conclusion, for the liquidity analysis is preferably to be more than one. So as for the current ratio and also quick asset test ratio, as you can see here, the ratio is increased. The ratio value is above 1 for 2013 and also 2014. This is a good indication for the company, as it indicates that Petra Energy Berhad is able to tap into low-cost borrowings from the banks and also other creditors. However, high current ratio doesn't indicate that the company is doing good, because it shows that practically the company won't liquid all its assets into cash. For the quick asset test ratio, similar to current ratio, but quick ratio, it is more liquid. It is more liquid as it deducts the inventories from the figures. As for the cash ratio, as you can see here, the cash ratio is below 1. However, it is okay for the company to have a cash ratio that is below 1, because it is not realistic to keep high cash in the company, as it indicates a poor utilization of the assets. Moving on to solvency, for debt to equity and also debt to assets ratio, it shows an upward trend from 2013 to 2014. The increase in the ratios shows that the company is using more leverage and has a weaker equity position. And for the debt to assets ratio, from investors' perspective, it shows that PDB's ability to finance the debt using the assets is lower. As for the interest coverage ratio, the ratio itself increased sharply from 2013 to 2014, and of course, investors will favor high ratio, as it indicates that the company is able to pay its interest expense and would have surplus after paying all those expenses. For the profitability analysis, for the four ratios shows here, it shows an upward trend from 2013 to 2014. For example, here GPM, from investors' perspective, and of course, investor would prefer a high GPM, because high GPM indicates that the profit itself would cover the fixed cost and also other expenses, and will have surplus after that. And as for the ROA, it shows that the company can squeeze profit. Higher ROA indicates that the company can squeeze profits from its assets. For the ROE, it shows that the management is efficient in utilizing its equity. And for the ROS, it shows an efficient sales growth for the year. So for overall conclusion, it is highly recommended for the investors to invest in Petra Energy Berhad, as it shows a good indication on its profitability and also liquidity. However, management should be paying attention to its solvency, as it shows increase in debt for 2014 only. That's all from us. Thank you.